order to improve educational opportunities in rural areas between Menfop and UNICEF. More than 2 million pilgrims expected in Mecca for Hajj 2023. Welcome to our newsroom. The message of congratulations from the Emperor of Japan to the President of the Republic on the advent of our National Independence Day. Congratulatory messages from head of state and government and eminent personalities at the head of regional and continental and international institutions, all wishing President Ismail Omar Guelleh success and achievement and greater well-being, development and prosperity for the people of Djibouti on the eve of the anniversary of our National Independence Day. Continue to pour into the offices of the President of the Republic. The latest of these telegrams comes from the Emperor of Japan, His Majesty Naruhito. On the occasions of the Djibouti's National Independence Day, I am pleased to extend to Your Excellency my warmest congratulations and best wishes for your personal happiness and the prosperity of your nation, wrote the Japanese Emperor in his message. Similar messages came respectively from the King of the Kingdom of Bahrain, His Majesty Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the President of the Presidential Council of the Republic of Yemen, His Excellency Mr. Rashad Al Alami, the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, and the President of the Republic of Cuba, His Excellency Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, and the Secretary General of the Francophonie, Louise Mushikiwabo, also sent a congratulatory telegram to the head of state. On the occasions of the National Day of the Republic of Djibouti, I send you on my own behalf on behalf of the organizations of the International Francophonie organizations, my warmest wishes, wrote Miss Louise Mushikiwabo in the message. I wish to reiterate how much the Republic of Djibouti's specific contribution to Francophone cooperation is appreciated, she noted in the same document. Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed this morning initiated a roadmap for the financing of immunization. The signing ceremony took place in the presence. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has presided the signing ceremony, who took place in the presence of the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, the Budget Minister Isman Ibrahim Roble, and the representatives of international organizations including UNICEF, World Health Organization, Gavi, International Organization for Migration, and the World Bank. This agreement is proof of the country's commitment to contribute to financing the purchase of vaccines and the operational cost of immunization services in order to increase the immunization coverage of children living on national territory. With 48 hours to go before the 46th anniversary, the people of Djibouti have united decorated their homes and streets in the color of the nations, whether it was a house, a store, a car, all were decorated with the patriotic rhythms and songs for the 46th anniversary. The people of Djibouti gave voice to a strong Djiboutian message that still resonates in the heart of people around the world. These messages of pride and peace is a legacy hard-won by our predecessor. Every home across the country is light up with a patriotic glow, while the streets are adorned with the brightly colored flags and banners. All decked out in the nation's color, the store proudly display decorations recalling the country's history and culture. Even cars are adorned with the national symbols, demonstrating each individual's commitment to Djibouti, a unifying traditions that illustrates Djiboutians' deep attachment to our country and our identity. Strong messages of national pride that transcend borders and touches Djiboutian individuals everywhere, reflecting the unity and solidarity of the population, as well as its desire to preserve and promote the values that have forged the country's history through these collective demonstrations of patriotism. As part of the celebrations of the 46th anniversary of independence, Sheikh Musa RPP Annex organized a cultural evening last night. The colorful evening was attended by the Minister of Women and Family, Muna Osman Aden, the Minister of Housing, Amina Abdi Aden, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Hibo Momin Asowe, and the Minister of Commerce, Muhammad Warsama, the President of the Commune of Balbala, Muhammad Hassan, and the President of the Commune of Bulaus, as well as the Member of Parliament, young people from the Sheikh Musa neighborhood, young people from the districts around the surrounded area came out in jubilations and joy to attend the programs of event dedicated to the celebrations of the 46th anniversary of our country's independence. After the reading of the Holy Quran and the national anthem, the RPP Sheikh Musa Annex vibrated to the rhythms of musical melodies performed by singers such as Diriye, Latif, Huma Sangor, and Bokh. The Commune of Balbala, in collaboration with the former player of Balbala, organized yesterday afternoon a march dedicated to the celebrations of the 46th anniversary of our beloved independence. This event saw the participation of the President of the Commune of Balbala, Muhammad Hassan, the former player, the Association of Sheikh Musa of the neighborhood, the Sheikh Musa, the active young people, the women, the Alliance of Women. The march, which took place in a convivial atmosphere, was an opportunity to perpetuate the celebrations of the 46th anniversary of independence. It was also a moment of meeting for lovers of the nations and of peace. At the end of the march, all participants crossed the finish line at Ega. As part of its activity in honor of the 46th anniversary of the country's independence, the Union of the Djiboutian Women UNFD organized an event in cultural entertainment yesterday at the CDC neighborhood 5, RPP neighborhood 6, and the ceremony began with the readings of the verses of Quran, followed by a variety of entertainment. This event, which took place in the presence of the Minister of City and Housing, Amina Abdi Aden, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Lufa Ismail Abdo, the Dr. Hibu Mumin Assawe, Minister of Youth and Culture, the Minister of Agriculture, Muhammad Ahmed Awale, the Vice President of the National Assembly, Mustafi Ilmi, and the parliamentarian of the National Assembly, the President of the Commune of Bulaos, local elected officials, members of the Community Council bordering the city's leaders of the Minister of Youth and Culture, the elders, and influential people from the neighborhood, as well as several dozen young people from the areas concerned. This musical evening will certainly remain engraved in the memories of all those who attended, symbolizing the unity and pride of peoples enthusiastically celebrating its independence. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed Burhan, and the Chief of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, both received Brigadier General Igor Matvin this morning at the Armed Forces General Staff, Brigadier General Igor Matviv, as part of a courtesy visit planned on the occasions of his recent appointment as the head of the mission representation of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation in residence in Addis Ababa. During the meeting, the two parties discussed their common interests and, in particular, the military training provided by the Russian Federation to the Djiboutian Army and other institutions, with a particular emphasis on the specialization opportunity available this year. Finally, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament wished the Brigadier General Igor Matviv every success in his new position.
mada ugubiyo calankiyo arladu kiyayirkanayeen moogtahay askariyo.
The Ministry of National Education, Vocational Training and UNICEF joined forces to promote educational in rural areas of Djibouti today. On the morning of Sunday, June 25, 2023, the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training and the representative of UNICEF in Djibouti, which is also the lead partners for the education sector, signed an agreement on the work plan for the current year. This work plan constitutes a strategic roadmap that will guide the concerted actions of the Ministry of National Education and Professional Training and UNICEF. It highlights a number of strategic areas with a particular focus on rural areas and improving the educational environment. The enrollment of girls and vulnerable children is one of the key strategic axes of this work plan. MANFOP and UNICEF are committed to ensuring access to education for all children, with particular emphasis on the most vulnerable. This collaboration also aims to promote integrated rural school and improve the overall educational environment in general and in rural areas in particular. At the signing ceremony, the UNICEF representative praised the minister's unwavering commitment to improving the quality of education and vocational training, particularly for vulnerable children. She reiterated UNICEF's full support for this effort, stressing the crucial importance of these collaborations in ensuring equitable access to education for all Djibouti's children. For his part, the Minister of National Education, Mustafa Mohamed Mahamoud, stressed the fundamental importance of providing equitable education for all children, emphasizing that every child, regardless of their places of residence or situation, must have the opportunity to benefit fully from their right to education. He assured that the government will do its utmost to create an environment conducive to learning so that every child can develop here on her or her full potentials and contribute to Djibouti's sustainable development. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf Momin Hassan Barre, accompanied by his close collaborators, and met late yesterday afternoon in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, with senior executives of the Saudi companies responsible for planning, accommodations, and transport to the holy sites of all pilgrims from Arab countries, including Djibouti. After the welcomes and thanks from both sides, the Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf Momin Hassan Barre praised the efforts made by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to organize the Hajj while taking care of the sacred sites of Islam and the pilgrims. The Djibouti Hajj Organizing Committee noted that there was a shortage of places for Djibouti pilgrims at the religious site of Mina, which prompted His Excellency Momin Hassan Barre to travel there in person, and he succeeded in resolving the problems yesterday evening after talks with the head of the Saudi companies in the charges of these affairs. At the end of the meeting, the bosses of the Saudi companies in charges of planning, housing, and transport presented the ministers with a gift that testifies to the fruitful ties between the two nations. For his part, Momin Hassan Barre, the Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf, took the opportunity to thank the Saudi authorities for the welcomes and hospitality extended to the people and government of Djibouti. He pointed out that the views of the two parties were identical and on the various subjects discussed at the meeting, which focused mainly on the development of services provided to Djiboutian pilgrims. In this context, the minister affirmed that the meeting ended successfully. Our request was well noted and will be settled in the evening, said the minister. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdel, the Hajj pilgrims for the Hajj 2023, more than 2 million people from 116 countries present to this Hajj. It represents more than 926,000 more than the next year. The number of the pilgrims will be limited for 1 million for the COVID-19 pandemic, and the pilgrims are dressed in white dress and sandals in the city of Mecca today to occupy the luxurious hotels and the commercial centers with the AC, and come from with the planes and bus and by trains for this annual ritual. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robla Abdille, presided over the closing ceremony of the National Training of Trainers Workshop on prenatal care, intrapartum cares, and optimizations of cesarean sections indications, which took place from June 17 to 22, 2023. At the Sheraton Hotel, the ceremony was attended by the World Health Organization representative, Dr. Reinhard van Wert, the UNICEF representative, Ms. Bit Bathel, the country managers for the Gavi Alliance, Mr. Donald Bambara, and the World Bank country project manager, Ms. Anna Bezarabik. In line with United Nations guidelines and in order to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals for maternal and neonatal health, Djibouti's Ministries of Health drew up in 2022 the national strategy for accelerating the reductions of maternal and neonatal mortality 2022-2026. This strategy aims to reduce maternal and neonatal mortalities and morbidity by guaranteeing continuous, comprehensive, and integrated health care in order to achieve universal health coverage. This 6 days workshop brought together 22 participants from several health institutions and structures, including Djibouti's Faculty of Medicine, the Higher Institute of Science of Health, the country's various maternity hospitals, the CNSS, various parapublic structures. The two representative World Health Organizations and UNICEF announced that to the Ministry of Health in the implementation of this strategy in order to achieve universal health coverage by 2030. In his speech, the Minister of Health indicated that this department has been engaged for almost a year in an irreversible dynamic to improve the situations of maternal and neonatal health while remaining in phases with the orientations of the National Health Development Plans in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals linked to health in 2030. In the country's new capital, the People Palace this morning hosted a workshop on climate perspectives for June to September season 2023, organized by the DRIS EA project in collaboration with the Djibouti National Meteorology Agency under the aegis of the MAEP General Secretaries and the Director. Indeed, the DRIS EA project comes at the right times to mitigate the impact of drought through the implementation of drought early warning system combined with drought and climate changes adaptations actions such as the setting up of innovative infrastructure. The workshop is designated to build the capacity of national stakeholders in early warning systems for drought risks forecasting, and the workshop was attended by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ibrahim Almi, the Director of Meteorology, and various collaborators. For his part, the Secretary General of the Minister of Agriculture, Ibrahim Almi, said that the specific objectives of the workshop are to raise awareness among stakeholders of the role and importance of climate services, to reflect on the performance and impacts of the March to May 2023 season, to prevent the consolidated regional climate outlook for the JAS 2023 season, they discuss the implications of the JAS 2023 season climate forecasts, and finally to provide a platform for regional interaction. As part of the Balbala Integrated Urban Development Project, the French ambassador to Djibouti, Madame Dana Purcarascu, accompanied by Madame Vidon, Director of AFD, and her collaborators, Madame Pode, visited Layable and Moustika yesterday, June 24, to see the state of progress of the infrastructure involved in the project in the September 2021, with the financial support from the Agence Française de Développement. The government kicked off the Integrated Urban Development Project as part of the Zero Slums programs. The aim of this program was to prevent the spread of precarious housing in certain outlying districts of the commune of Balbala. Less than 2 years after the launch of this vast project, the results are in, and we can only rejoice at the unparalleled change that Djibouti Development Agency has brought about in Layable and Mustikar districts. The Layable and Mustikar district is no longer what it once was, much to the delight of the Djiboutian IDDS and IFD, in collaboration with the commune of Balbala, organized a half-day guided tours yesterday. And concerning we would like to inform our value customers and users that the Mohammed Burhan Qasim boat will be sailing to Tajora on Monday, June 26th at the usual times, as Tuesday, June 27th is a public holiday. The direction of the Maritime Affairs and the boat staffs takes this opportunity to extend our best wishes for the Eid al-Adha. During this sweltering summer period in our city, many citizens are seeking an escape by leaving the capital to take refuge in the milder regions, whether in the hinterland or with our neighbor. Indeed, it is remarkable that in Tajora to note that lately the vast majority of citizens take the Tajora-Balhur road in the directions of the neighboring countries, Ethiopia, mainly frequented by the elderly, women and children. This road is very busy during this heat wave. This is why it is essential that drivers demonstrate a heightened sense of responsibility by limiting overloadedness and avoiding excessive speeds in order to avoid potential tragedies. It is worth remembering that this road has already been the scene of numerous fatal accidents. Faced with this situation, the region's new prefect, Mohammed Abbas, is urgently appealing to public transport drivers to redouble their vigilance and adopt questions of driving, still aware that human lives are at the stake. Djibouti's athletes shine at the Arab Athletics Championship currently taking place in Marrakesh. In the 5,000-meter event, Djibouti's representatives topped the podiums with a remarkable performance. Mohamed Ismail alias Fatah ran an exceptional race to win the gold medal. The Djiboutian athletes set the places from the start of the races and maintained it through. This victory is a great source of pride for Djibouti, confirming its place among the great athletics nations of Africa. His compatriot Hussein Suge Aden, the young hope and elite of the Djiboutian athletics, also put in a remarkable performance, coming second in the event and winning the silver medal. Despite his young age, Hussein Suge Aden, who trains in Sululta, Ethiopia, has risen to the level of the greatest athletes, demonstrating a promising talent for the future. The Secretary of State for Sports and the President of the Djiboutian Federation of Athletics congratulated the two athletes on their brilliant performance and praised the work of the entire Djibouti delegation. And Alexander Hussein Aden won the gold medal in the 73-kilogram category of the Niamey Opens, an exceptional performance of judo to add his rich record of achievement. Alexander Hussein Aden once again demonstrated his determination and talent by winning this competition. Alexander Hussein, a member of the national team, was one of the favorites of these competitions, and he held his own with a top-class performance. His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh's flagship EOJ grant project for elite athletes launched in 2022 continues to bear fruit thanks to the EOJ grant. Good performance are multiplying on a regional, continental, and international scale. Young Alexander is also sponsored by CAC International Bank, which is delighted with this achievement. The Secretary of State in charge of sports was taken to pay tribute to the athlete's success, offering his congratulations. In the same championship, Djibouti won 2 other gold medals in their category, young Al Jasser Radwan and young judoka Malaka. For the international scene in Chad, the government is seeking support and assistance from technical and financial partners to enable it to cope with the influx of Sudanese refugees on its territory. The Prime Ministers of the transitional government, Saleh Kebzabo, addressed the diplomatic corps on Saturday. The Chadian Prime Minister began his speech by recalling the migration situations in the east of the country. Chad is currently hosting over 400,000 Sudanese refugees in the east. These mobilizations of the international community in the face of humanitarian tragedy and distress experienced by Sudanese refugees is not on a part with the mobilization seen elsewhere. The Prime Minister therefore took the opportunity to appeal to the international community. The government of the Republic of Chad is seeking massive support and technical assistance from the countries and organizations represented here. This appeal is also addressed to all Chadians of goodwill and to non-governmental organizations as well as to economic operators, said Saleh Kebzabo. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.